Hey there, I'm Jess Burns. Welcome to the Jess Burns Show. This is where ambition meets alignment. I'm a VA coach, business strategist, and freedom mentor, and I help service-based women unleash their power, scale beyond booked out, and step into their CEO era. Expect real talk, practical strategies, and inspiring conversations with women who've built businesses on their terms. If you're ready to create more freedom, more income, and more impact, this is the space for you. There we go. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm so excited. There is so much happening. I just got off a team meeting with my VAs, and yeah, we are kicking butt. We've just released some really exciting things. And I just said to one of my lovely VAs, I'm like, I've been really productive. I got up and did this free training last night, and like I've got all these things happening, and I've revamped a whole heap of stuff, and I'm under the pump. All right, so hello, beautiful ladies. My name is Jess Burns. If we haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, I am your six-figure VA coach, and my job is to help you start and scale your virtual assistant business. I had full intentions of doing my hair properly today and putting a face makeup on, but we were talking about so many delicious things that it just didn't happen today, which is fine. These things don't always go as planned. All right, let me find my lovely notes. Where am I? I'm all over the place today. It's all happening. Here we go. Now, I'm also aware I've done this training before. However, Facebook ever so kindly now, when I go live, it only gives me 30 days and we didn't save our training in time. So I am going for it again. So what I would love is if anyone's got any questions about this topic, feel free to shoot them over or pop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer anything that you've got going on. All right, I'm just closing all the things I am not using right now. All right, so it's still not working for me. So I hear a lot, like very regularly around people not sure what to name their business, and it can really put a bit of a dampener in things, and it can really have you screeching to a grinding halt, right? And I thought I would share a little bit of a story. And I vividly remember this conversation when I was starting my business. And initially I started out doing spreadsheets for people, right? Because I love spreadsheets, and you'll hear me talk about this a lot, but there's two types of people in the world. There's people that love Excel and there's people that hate Excel. I'm an Excel lover and I help the Excel haters. And so, yeah, my notes just aren't going to work today. Cool. And so I decided that was going to be my first crack at entrepreneurship, is that I was going to start a VA business without knowing it was a VA business, and help people with reporting or spreadsheets or formulas and really geek out. You know, I went and bought off Etsy the, you know, freak in the sheets with the Excel spreadsheet on the front, mug, and, you know, all the things. Total nerd, right? And I remember having a conversation with my uncle, who is a very savvy businessman. He has had multiple business ventures of his own. They've run horse agistment companies. He used to run a generator business for people who lived in bushfire prone areas. Like, he went door to door. Like, he's my go-to business advisor, really, in that space, and especially at that time. And I remember sitting at the dining table and I said to him, hey, I've got this idea. I want to do this. I'm great at admin. I'm great at problem solving, and I love Excel. And there's people out there that just need some help. And I'd get asked in the office every day, hey, can you help me with this? Hey, what does this look like? Hey, what, etc. And I said to him, I know, I'm going to call my business Simple Spreadsheets. And he's like, what? Simple Spreadsheets? I'm like, yeah, Simple Spreadsheets. And he's like, look, whilst that is great and it's really specific, what happens if you change your mind? What happens if you go down different? I'm not going to change my mind. Like, this is what I'm going to do. This is the rest of my life. I'm going to create spreadsheets. I can't wait. That's exactly how I'm going to help people, and it's going to be like that forever. And, I couldn't be told any different. And he said, look, just hear me out. Like, what if you just called it like JB Consulting or Jess Burns Consulting, or, you know, consulting with Jess, or, you know, like just go generic basically. And I'm like, why would I do that? That doesn't say what I do. Like, you know, I mean, McDonald's certainly doesn't say burgers in the name of the company, but I'm thinking, God, you're crazy, dude. Like, what do you know? And I sat at that kitchen table and I registered Simple Spreadsheets then and there, paid my money to what's it called? ASIC, registered my ABN, did all the things. I've got a free checklist if you're really early on and early stages and you need that. Let me know. Just pop a checklist in the comments. And yeah, that was it. That was that. Like, I started Simple Spreadsheets. Found my first couple of clients. I was doing reporting for clients. I was doing data entry. And then not long after that, not long after that, I realized maybe spreadsheets isn't what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Maybe it's marketing. And I really love marketing, and I started to learn more about social media. And for the volunteer group that I was a part of, I started doing their social media and updating their website. They had a Squarespace website at the time, and yeah, it was great. It was awesome. But then I realized, damn it, he was right. He was totally right. So I actually ended up, I didn't close Simple Spreadsheets, but I bought the domain. It was all there. And then I decided he was 100% right. I should have just gone with something about me, because then I could pivot and change. So what happened was, then I decided to relaunch my VA business about 12 months later. And I decided to put it under Jess Burns. Like, that was my business name. That's how it was going to be. And so I went and I bought the domain. Now I want to touch on this. There's a reason why I want to touch on this, and I'm a bit all over the place today, so forgive me. But a lot of people talk about their domain names, and it's the first thing you need to check before you register your business name. And I know that's really counterintuitive, and I'll share with you the website that I use, which is called Venture IP. There is there's an affiliate link. However, they by far, by none, are the best, I find, in the industry. They're so easy to get along with. They're really contactable. They help with any questions. They've got a chat function as well. So, and most of the girls that come into Freedom Unlocked use these guys, and they're amazing. I highly recommend. So the first thing you want to do is go to their website, and I'm going to pop it in the chat. I'm just trying to find the little link. And what I really like about them too is the more you buy through them, the cheaper it is. I'm just having a look. Why is this not coming up for me? Anyway, I'll find this and pop it in for you. It's still not happening for me. Check the domain name. So for me, what I was told really early on is make sure you get all the domain names that you want to get. So for me, jessburns.com, really lucky that was even still available, and jessburns.com.au, so I made sure I got both. And I would recommend the same for you. So if you are doing something like RebeccaCarters.com, Allison's a great example, who's one of my clients and one of my very, very dear friends. AllisonOckenden.com was already taken. And so then she kind of went down this whole path of Alison Marie. So then it was AlisonMarie.com, AlisonMarie.com.au, but just having those so no one else can buy them. I have seen instances where people are selling domain names for $2,500, $2,000, not because they're using it, because they know you want it, right? So first things first, before you name your business, make sure that the domain names are available, and then at least you can make an educated decision on what that looks like. And I'll pop that link in shortly for you so you can go check that out. So really lucky when repurchase the domain names. for jessburns.com and jessburns.com.au, and then entirely pivoted my business. So whilst I have Totally Unleashed now, which is my course platform, if you will, I've still got my Jess Burns, which is my personal brand, and it still is up and running and has other products and other services there too. And I run them concurrently. Um, I would highly, 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 highly recommend to be that little bit more generic. However, where you're really specific is in your content and in your course creation or in your packages. Your packages should be named as per the outcome. Okay, this is really, really important, and it's gold, and it's what people would normally pay me for. So, for example, jessburns.com, great, Totally Unleashed, cool. However, my signature courses are called Freedom Unlocked. Why? Because that's what you get in 12 weeks. We unlock freedom. We create a VA business. It's a business in a box program. So you basically hit the ball, hit the ground running, tick all the boxes. We work out what you're going to pay, what you're going to charge, what you're going to offer, and where your clients are. They're the three things that we do in that program. And we make sure that things are set up correctly. We go through systems, we go through social media. There's so many incredible bonuses in that program right now. I'm happy to share with you. But also, that way you can do whatever you want. If you change your mind, if you think, right, I'm going to focus on the NDIS, for example, and they're about to go through a huge reform and things are changing rapidly within the NDIS. If you go in and say NDIS with Jess as a business name, for example, and then that whole thing changes, or the government decide to rename it, or whatever the case may be, what happens to your business? You're really, really vulnerable in that position. Versus jessburns.com, Jess Burns Consulting, etc. Things that are a bit more concrete, and then I can say simplify NDIS with Jess as my packages or my offer, for example. So my key lessons really were should have listened to my uncle. I don't know if I've actually ever owned up to that and told him that. Luckily, he's not in this free group, so he's not going to see that. He's not going to hear that. But I'll happily give him a buzz and own that. And I probably should. I'm just going to try and jump back onto my notes and see if there was anything else that I needed to touch on. No, I don't think so. There's been a few threads, and if you're not sure, like, feel free to pop it in the Facebook group. I mean, I talk about this all the time, where people do not utilize our free Facebook group enough. Like, feel free to jump in and hey ladies, make sure you say hi. I didn't even know there's people hanging out here. There's people who like jump into the Facebook group, ask questions. If you have an idea for a name and you're not sure, make sure you ask. Now, the other thing I just want to touch on, so domain name, register your business name, go through ASIC, really, really important. When your 12 months is up, you will get a letter from registry. I've actually got one right here, funnily enough. And I want to talk about this because this is really, really important. This is not legitimate. Do not do what they are asking for. Make sure you register your business name and you renew your business name with ASIC. It's really important. This is a scam. Blah, 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 blah. Business name expires on this date. Renew your business with Registry Australia. I don't know why they don't do anything about this, but they don't. But you'll see they'll put in the pricing, etc. What's the benefit of renewing my business name through Registry Australia? It's all a load of crap. So I'm really glad that I have this sitting here. Do not do it through this. Please go through the direct channels of ASIC. ASIC can be a real pain in the butt to deal with. I moved house a couple of years ago. They didn't do anything about it. It's really hard to get a hold of them. Frustrating. However, they are the go-to people. So let me know any questions about naming your business. If you're not sure, Like I said, generic business name is better. Make sure it's available. You can do that through like the ABN lookup business.gov.au, and you can search. So the two things you need to do: search to see if the business name's available, and secondly, check to make sure your domain name's available. Let me, while I'm here, if you're going to pop in, if you ladies have got some questions, I'll happily answer them live while I'm here. But I'm just going to try and find those links for you. So I've put them all here and then I don't lose them. It's usually a lot easier to find than this. I don't know why it's a pain in the butt today. Ah, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. That's not what I want. I want this one. Here we go. All right. So Venture IP, as I mentioned, that will help you work out if your domain name is available. Hey, Helen, how are you? Lovely. So for example, Helen, I hope you don't mind, I'll share a little bit about you. Like you could do like events with Helen, for example. But what happens if in 5 years' time you decide, you know what, I don't want to follow this path anymore? What if I don't want to do this type of business anymore? So you could go on and see if Helen Gus is available. You could do first name, middle name, you know, if you don't want to go through that process. I don't know why my Facebook comments and stuff are not working on the computer. Business name, look up. ASIC. Yeah, so you want to go on ASIC and search for business names. Do not go on that business registry. Please, 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 I beg you, because it's not legitimate. So you could do helengus.com.au. I don't know your middle name, but let's say it's Helen Louise. You could do helenlouise.com.au. So go on and check for the domain and check for the business name, and then you want .com and .au bare minimum. You can, if you want to purchase .net, .store, .whatever, you can do those things, but up to you. I would say bare minimum is .com and .au. The last thing you want is someone to create, like if there's another Helen Gus out there, or let's say, you know, I don't know your partner, but let's say you get married and he's a Smith and it's Helen Smith and you want to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like the last thing you want is someone to take that name and then you have to pay an exorbitant amount of money to replace and replenish that. So let's just make sure that we're covering all bases. Generic business name, very clear objectives and clear outcome-based names for your programs. They're the two key things. You know, and I look back and I'm like, man, I wasted so much time building a social media platform, building my presence, doing all the things with my business name. My initials are terrible. HAG. HAG. Oh, that's not great, is it? But look, I mean, if I went and looked at hag.com.au, it's probably taken. Let me see. Let's have a look. So this is what, can I screen share? I haven't screen shared while doing a live on Facebook. I don't think I can. I don't think it'll let me. I thought I could, but maybe I can't. No, I can't. Have a look. Settings, interactivity, polls, questions, links, distribution. No, it doesn't like me. Okay, that's cool. Oh, I can, but it doesn't want me to. Damn it. So, so you could use HG. Yeah, so you could say it's HG Consulting. And then you could, in your packaging and in all your marketing, it could be events with HG, for example. So I'm just going to have a look. HG Consulting, for example. So you can say consulting, you can say services, you could say what else could we use? You know, anything along those lines. So HG Consulting is already taken, right? So because my concern is that if you decide that you don't want to do events anymore, it may cause a problem. So hgevents.com.au is available, but it looks like .com is taken. So it really can influence what you name and how you name your business, which is why I wanted to talk about this. And not, I don't think enough people talk about this. Oh, now my comments are working. There we go. Now I can see all your beautiful things on my computer screen now. Yeah, it is taken. So then we could, like, we can brainstorm and work out what else that you could use. Like I said, so HG Consulting, HG Services. What else could we do? HG and Co. Like that, like Jessica and Co. is my company name. So you could go down a bit of a different path. You could incorporate your children's initials into it and see if that will work. So a friend of mine owns Dab's Plumbing, and it's quite funny. Actually, this is a really interesting story. You're probably sick of me now, but they named it, so the wife is Donna and husband is Anthony, and they've got 3, 4 kids now. But they started their plumbing business quite early on, so they decided to use an acronym in their business name, being Dab's Plumbing. However, they continued on to have more children since they've named the business. So the kids after BNS initials are not in the business name anymore. Really great example, but it is what it is. They've built a great business. They are extremely successful in Newcastle, and they do a wonderful job. If anyone needs a local plumber around here, those guys are amazing. But it can, yeah, absolutely. So HG Support Services, yep, definitely. My daughter is also a H Haley, so you could do GHH, HGH. You also want to be mindful that it's not a complete tongue twister for you to say as well. However, I mean, I think of like the hotel chain, ALH. You've got MGM Grand as the casino in Vegas. It can totally work from a business name, but just don't pigeonhole yourself in that one space, because you may find that you, like, Helen, so you've been in events for a long time. You may end up coaching event managers. You may end up evolving a program for event managers and not actually run the events. You may offer online support programs. So it just may evolve. Like, who knows? Who knows where we could be? If you told me 8 years ago that I'd be sitting here coaching women how to start and scale their own business, I would have laughed in your face, because I was a terrified, timid young lady sitting in the corner of my bedroom with long red hair. I'm sure some of you have seen the photo. That was not that. It just wasn't on the cards. So and who knows where I'll be in another 10 years. I mean, if I won the lotto and I could do this for free, I absolutely would. That's the dream. And I would run I'm going to be really vulnerable. I would run free programs for people who are in domestic violence situations to start their own VA business, because that is what allowed me to get out of my situation with my daughter, and it's allowed us to move house and buy a house and buy a new car and do all the things. And I'm super grateful. We travel regularly, and we have a great relationship. I'm tearing up just thinking about it. But starting my VA business changed my life. And who knows where it could take you and the path that it could lead you on. What if I look at other words for consulting? And you could totally do this. Advising, facilitating, assistance. Like, assistance is a big one, but again, be a bit careful with that, because it can pigeonhole you a little bit. Advisory is a good one. Specialist is a good one. It's funny, there was a bathroom place I heard on the radio the other day, and I don't know the name, so I'm not going to say it, but let's say it was, giraffe bathrooms. They've now branched into kitchens. So it's not impossible. It's not impossible, but we want to have a little bit of flexibility in that. So yeah, just something to be mindful of. And even if you don't want to be named a consultant or a coach, or like, again, I've been known as a VA, I've been known as a marketing manager, I've been known as a operations manager, I've been known as a admin manager, I've been known, like, there's all these different labels. The label's not what's important. Speaking of office managers, hello, Miss Paris. So we want to be a bit broad. Sorry, I'm rambling now. So broader with, you want to come say hi to everyone? Come on. This is our little friend at the moment. We are puppy sitting. This is Paris. And yeah, so you want to be broader with your business name, more specific with your product offer name. So we can go down that path and talk about that. But this is all things that we do in Freedom Unlocked, which I'm going to talk to you about really, really quickly. So Freedom Unlocked is a 12-week program. It's amazing. We've had close to 30 women go through that now in the last 12 months, and they are killing it. We are putting the price up next Tuesday. Tuesday will be the last day to get in. There's a range of bonuses, including a 12-month directory listing. You get a month of the CRM that we support for free, which is awesome. That's usually $100 a month. You get a directory listing as well, included in the current price. But I really like to have a conversation with you and just work out if this is the right fit and see what you've got going on and what this looks like. And we create a really clear plan. And then from there, yes, Paris, we do, don't we? From there, then it's like, okay, are we ready? Are we going to hit the ground running? I'm so excited. We've just had someone join this morning as well. So I'll introduce her early next week. I know Helen and I are having another chat as well next week, which I'm super pumped for. And so if you're on the fence about this, like, now is a really great time to jump on board and have a conversation, because the price, I don't normally sell on price, but the price won't ever be this low again because I've added so much to this, and it really is business in a box. So if this is something that you are serious about and you are ready to go, I've just popped the Book a VA Blueprint link in the comments, and I'd love to have a chat. So I was not expecting to cry on today's live. I wasn't expected to be so ranty on today's live, but I'm super glad that we got on and we're able to brainstorm. So if you need some help, feel free to comment here or ask the question in the Facebook group. I really, really strongly encourage, like, I'm in there every day and can offer some free support. So if that is what you need, jump on over. Let's make it happen, and let's unlock freedom for you, ladies. I hope you have a wonderful week. Enjoy the weekend, and I will talk to you really soon. Thank you for joining me on the Jess Burns Show. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And I'd love to invite you to come and hang out in my free Facebook community for service-based women stepping into their CEO energy. Please feel free also to leave a review, as this will help other amazing women just like you find us on your preferred podcast channel. Until next time, stay empowered and totally unleashed.